Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Devin White, actor at YouTube.com. And today we're doing another film locations. Here we are on the film locations of a great one, 1982 classic, An Officer and a Gentleman. If you look right here, this is where it was filmed, here in Port Townsend, Washington. If you look, this is where the push-up scene was, the basic training all happened. We'll go up here a little bit on the coastal line where he does the classic line, I have no other place else to go. It stars Louis Gossett Jr., Deborah Winger, David Keith, and Richard Gere. If you look right behind me, this is where the barracks were, where all the great scenes took place, where the motorcycle scene, the initiation, and everything. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. I'll give you facts, history, trivia, and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and stay tuned for some more film locations with Devin White, actor. Now, as we're here, there's a couple of scenes here in the movie that take place. One is where they do their push-ups, and they're getting yelled at, and they're getting their heads shaved and everything. And then there's a scene where Deborah Winger and her friend come up here, and they're talking to one of the officers' wives about the new enlisted men, and they're asking questions and stuff like that. Right here. This is an old Army barracks that has turned into a state park. There's plenty of these around, from Vancouver, Washington, to here, Seattle, Tacoma, everywhere. This is not initiated, this is not established anymore. This is just basically a state park. It is free, as far as I know. Maybe the museums and some of the other tourist sites might charge you a little bit, but as far as I know, I'm here. It's free. You can walk around and see what's going on. But here is some of the buildings. If you haven't seen it, obviously I challenge you to go watch An Officer and a Gentleman. It's not a bad film. It grossed over double its budget. It was over a $6 million budget. It made over like $130 million afterwards at the box office. Deborah Winger did a great job. Richard Gere did a great job. And Louis Gossett Jr. won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, which is one of the very few African-American actors to win. The other one was the lady from Gone with the Wind. She won Best Supporting Actress for her role as the, I guess you'd say like a maid servant in Gone with the Wind. I forget what her name is right now. Hattie McCoy, Hattie McField, something like that. But she won. We're here in Port Townsend. It's very easy to locate. Once you get into Port Townsend, all the directions and signs point right to this place. We're on the very coastal line here in the Washington State. On the western side, so Seattle would be over there. We're on this side, so we're on the western side. When you get here, there's plenty of free parking, plenty of things to do. There's obviously a tennis court. There's a tennis court. There's an information booth, museums. Places to go hike and visit and swim and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to keep going down here, and we're going to show you some of the old concrete bunkers and stuff like that, where they did the push-up scene where he's spraying water on him and he's yelling at him and stuff, and he's like, I have nowhere else to go. And then we'll keep going further down the coastal line, and we'll show you some more scenes. There's a hotel down here in Port Townsend where David Keith's character, one of the good friends of Richard Gere's character, commits suicide after he flunks out of the Naval Academy officers training, and commits suicide because the woman that he wants to be with and marry doesn't want to be with him. And that is a tourist site, actually, ironically. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. I'll be right back. Now, the original naval officers training is actually in Pensacola, Florida, from what I've heard. But they couldn't get access to that, or they didn't want them to be filmed there. Obviously, it's an active base and training program, so they chose Port Townsend, where we are now, which is pretty unique. I mean, it is the coast. I mean, we have some very interesting stuff here. We have Bangor, Bremerton, Naval Area, Seattle. I mean, the Navy is here. Here we're at this kind of old concrete kind of bunker kind of thing. You'll see these things all over the coastal line, from Long Beach, Astoria, Seaside, Cannon Beach. These kind of abandoned concrete structures, which I'm around right now. And this is kind of where Richard Gere's character kind of did push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and stuff like that. And the Louis Gossett Jr. drill instructor kind of gave him a lot of crap and tried to instill some character into his life. The coast is right here, as you can see. You're pretty much on the ocean, it's about at this point. I'll give you a little panorama here of what it looks like. When you come through here, you got your weeds and everything. But just give a kind of a recap and a spoiler alert for those out there who have never seen the film before. It's really about a man who is Zach Mayo, mayonnaise. There's quite a few quotes and lines from this movie that people remember. In '82, I think '86 was Top Gun. '82, Officer and Gentleman. I mean, that was the year that. I mean, from the '80s, I mean, that was the year that people really got into the military. I mean, I heard that in Top Gun, a lot of men joined the Naval Academy or the Navy itself to try to like impress their girlfriends and wives and try to be pilots or something in the Navy. This one is no different. It did really well. Supposedly, Devin White and Richard Gere did not get along. Supposedly, Richard Gere is a very hard person to get along with on set. But the idea, though, is that Richard Gere's character, Zach Mayo, is a man who, I can't remember if his mom's alive or dead, but she's not in the picture. And his dad is a Navy man, especially when he was born and growing up. And he lived in the Philippines and went with his dad across the seas and stuff like that. His dad may be an officer at this time, or at least bumped up the ranks. And his dad thinks that his son is not going to make it through the academy. For some reason, Zach, Richard Gere's character, wants to be in the officers' training program and decides to do that. And his dad does not have any faith in him, though he leaves. His dad is kind of a drunk, an asshole, etc., womanizer, sleeps with whores and sluts and prostitutes and stuff like that. So he comes here, gets his head shaved, he has long hair, he's a hippie, rides a motorcycle, comes here, gets his ass into shape, and he meets a couple of the girls at this kind of like dance party thing, Devin White and her friend, and his friend, who's in the academy as well, David Keith, who started in Firestarter with Drew Barrymore, from what I remember, and they kind of screw up and they try to like half-ass things. They try to like, you know, polish and have certain belt buckles and shoes already polished and stuff. And they try to like do a little hustle. They try to get themselves off base so they can go out and leave and have fun and all that stuff. So there's no discipline in them. Well, Louis Gossett Jr.'s character, the African-American man who plays the drill instructor, he catches this. And of course, he disciplines them, especially Zach Mayo, and he wants him to quit. He wants to instill some encouragement to him, some fight into him, see if he has what it takes. Check this out, guys. There's deer, and no one cares. There's deer right here on the grass right here. It's a cloudy day, overcast, pretty standard, pretty typical for Washington. So it's pretty fitting. But like I said, here is kind of the concrete barracks and structures of what he would have been on and been doing push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and leg curls and all that kind of stuff right here. And of course, Louis Gossett Jr. would be here somewhere. I'm not sure if this is the exact place where they did it, but you get the general idea. There's the coast. This might be it. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's been years since '82. We're in 2024. But you see the windy trees. The wind blows them a certain way. And you can, all the trees, if you look, the trees always go and they grow the way the wind blows on the coastlines. It's pretty funny, as you can see. But it'd be something like this. The shot would be. And he would say, I have no place else to go. I got no other place to go. Which he breaks character. He breaks himself down. He realizes that he has nothing, and that all that he has left is the Naval Academy. And he really has a special relationship with Louis Gossett Jr.'s character. And they make it through, and he fights through it, and he does graduate. Now, David Keith, though, here's the thing. In the movie, the idea is that there is women that in certain military towns, in this movie, and in real life, that they hustle military men. I've heard it between my friends. My friends have been in the military, the reserves, the Marines, etc., etc. And they do say that, yes, men get attached, and like men do, they fall in love really quickly. But the women are not being very truthful. And they hurt your feelings, and all they want is they want to grab whatever they can out of you because of they marry you, they get half of this, half of this, half of this, the support, the dental, the insurance, the health care, and they hustle you. Now, I'm not saying all women. I don't know much about it, but this is what I heard. And this is a theme in the movie. The theme in the movie is David Keith's character, the woman who he likes, fakes pregnancy, and he quits the officer's training, and he goes and he pledges his love to her. And he says, will you marry me? Spoiler alert. And she fakes it. They find out, especially Zach Mayo, Richard Gere's character, finds it out. And he can't take it no more. He realizes that his dream of being an officer is tarnished. And the woman says, I won't marry you. I want to marry a pilot, an aviator, and you're a loser. You're an Okie from Muskogee. Classic line. And he kills himself in the motel just down the road. Richard Gere is very pissed off, and so is Deborah Winger's character, because that is her friend. And she's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And of course, the theme too is Deborah Winger works at a factory here in Port Townsend. I don't know if it's really true, if there's a factory here, if that's at all true. But in Washington in general, there is a sense of hard workmanship, blue-collared characters here. I grew up here my whole life, and I was born and raised in Washington. There is a little bit of redneckness to it, a little bit of outdoorsmanship, loggers, boats, fishermen, stuff like that. Anyway, so she works at these many places, and there's no future for her. She's doing the best she can. And the woman's dream is to marry a naval officer or someone in the Navy so a man can take care of them. Well, it's been a while since I watched the movie, but it doesn't really work that way so far. But the ending scene is what we all remember. The ending scene is when he shows up at the warehouse after graduation, and he picks her up, and she takes his hat off, puts it on her, and he walks her out, and the music plays, and the credits roll. I mean, that's kind of what it is, because he knows that he loves her, and she loves him. Yet again, here's another concrete structure. You'll see a lot of these. There's one in Warrenton. This is Fort Worden, Warrenton, and Astoria. You go across the bridge, the same thing. There is a concrete structure just like this. You can go inside it, though, some of these. And it's pretty freaky because it's just dark. There's one in Port Orchard, Manchester State Park. There's a lot of naval stuff like this, where there's a lot of concrete stuff. Out of commission, doesn't work. But they try to, they were kind of worried about future ships and invasions, World War II, enemy ships, attacks. So they built a lot of coastal line things. Come to find out, nobody was coming this far from China, Japan, to come and attack us. So they just decommissioned them, and now they became state parks. So Manchester State Park, Warrenton State Park, the Cannon Beach, I forget what that's called, but Cannon Beach, Seaside, Astoria State Park, blah, blah, blah. But you'll find these. They're all over the place. As we go along here, we're going to find that there is some paths, some walk areas A lot of foliage, trees, and coastal lines. People are swimming right now. It's the middle of the summer, July. People are having fun. And we'll come over here, and you can see it's a really fun place to come. Bring your family, a little historical place, not only just for the movie, but just for the historical aspect of the art. I don't think this is a Navy base. This might have been Navy, Army kind of thing, but pretty cool. You can camp, RV sites. There's plenty of stuff going on right now. There's a jazz festival going on right now. I mean, Port Townsend has always events. It's July 21st. 22nd, 28th, and then everywhere. I'm going off the beaten path here, but it's pretty cool. This place is obviously broken down. If we step over here, might as well, right? I mean, what Mama doesn't know won't hurt her. If we go through here, let's see what we got, because there is some beautiful coastal line and some beautiful cliffs and edges here. Yeah, there's a park here down below, boats and everything. The lighthouse. Like I said, over yonder is, it's not exactly, but that's where Seattle would be. Seattle would be that way. Vashon Island, Bainbridge, Whidbey, etc. That's that. We're on here on the thumb. If you look at Washington like this, it's a thumb. We're on the thumb side. Seattle's right here. We're on the thumb side right there. That's Washington State, right? But yeah, I haven't watched the movie in a couple of hot seconds. But if you get a chance to watch it, it's not bad. It's not a bad film. It's cute. It's romantic. Might make you join the Navy. Might make you want to be something else. I mean, they just bumped up the Navy ranks to 42 years of age. I'm in the middle of joining the Navy myself, so I'm trying to like work my way into that path of joining the Navy. Wish me luck, everybody. But yeah, I mean, Port Townsend. I mean, there's a lot to visit, a lot to see, a lot to know. Port Townsend, Port Ludlow, Port Gamble, Port Orchard, Bremerton, Gig Harbor. I mean, the list goes on and on of these places around here. And they're gorgeous, and they're really fun to visit, and they're worth it. I mean, there's not much else I can say about this film besides go watch it. And come out here to Fort Worden State Park and come take a look at this place. There's other things in Port Townsend. You can go to Port Angeles. You can go, I mean, anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to keep this short and simple. So basically, I hope you enjoyed this little historical fact, little trivia, little answers. You know, Army, the guy who was in Full Metal Jacket, he was supposed to play Louis Gossett Jr.'s character. You know, what's going on here? Where you from? Texas? All I got was Texas with steers and queers. He was supposed to play that character, but they wanted a black man to play the character. Now, what happened is when he did Full Metal Jacket, he redid that line in Full Metal Jacket and says, "Where are you from? Cowboy, Texas?" And he's like, "Oh, we got from Texas is steers and queers." And he did that. And he was a technical advisor. Army, I forget what his name is, but something Army. He died a few years ago. R.I.P. You remember him all your life. You know him. He's like, "Wah, rah, rah, rah." He's really good at what he does. He's a real drill instructor, really in the Marines. But he's supposed to play that character. And it chose a black guy to do it. And but he was a technical advisor on it. And it was great. It was great. He knows what he's doing. He was in Frighteners. I mean, he was in that movie with Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn about that aliens. I mean, he's been around for years. R.I.P. Army. I forget his name is Army. A-R-I-M-E-I-Y. Army. But yeah, it's not that far. I mean, if you live in the Seattle-Tacoma area, it's about an hour, 2 hours away. Free parking, like I said. It's middle of July. I found free parking. It's easy. It's simple. Plenty of paths to go along. Plenty of things to see. I mean, there's people all around. I mean, right here. I mean, there's people coming and their families and they're doing tours and stuff like that. And I'm sure that if you wanted to know more information than I can give you, go to the local booths and sites and ask them questions of the volunteers and stuff like that, park rangers. But I just wanted to make something because I was in the area and I'm from Washington, so I thought let's give another film locations of Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, there's not much else I can say about the film, I don't think, except for go watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and stay tuned for more Take two. Stay tuned for more film locations with Devin White Actor at YouTube.com. Thank you very much. Have a great day.